In the heart of Africa, a grand experiment in colonial rule took shape in the late 19th century, known as the Congo Free State. This vast territory, spanning over 1 million square miles, became the personal possession of one man, King Leopold II of Belgium. However, this was no ordinary kingdom, and Leopold was no ordinary king. His rule was characterized by cunning, manipulation, and a relentless pursuit of wealth and power. The birth of the Congo Free State was a masterclass in political maneuvering. At the Berlin Conference of 1885, Leopold managed to convince the powers of Europe that his intentions in Africa were purely humanitarian. He spoke of bringing civilization and economic development to the region, of lifting the local population out of their supposedly primitive state. The European powers, eager to avoid conflict over Africa's vast resources, willingly bought into Leopold's vision and granted him sovereignty over the Congo. But gaining control was only half the battle. The Congo region presented formidable challenges for the Europeans. Local tribes resisted the intruders, the tropical diseases were deadly to the unacclimated Europeans, and the dense jungle environment was inhospitable to outsiders. Yet, Leopold was not deterred. With the aid of the famed explorer Henry Morton Stanley, he managed to forge treaties with local chiefs, effectively gaining control over their lands. Simultaneously, Leopold launched a publicity campaign to legitimize his claim. He offered support to France and the United States, securing their backing in exchange. France recognized the International Association's claim on the southern Congo Basin, while the United States supported Leopold's cause, providing him with the international recognition he needed to solidify his rule. Thus, under the guise of civilization and progress, the stage was set for one of history's most notorious colonial regimes. At the helm of this new state was King Leopold II, whose ambitions far outstripped his humanitarian pretenses. A king not by birthright in Congo, but by cunning and ambition. His rule was marked by a relentless pursuit of recognition from other European powers, a task made easier with the assistance of famed explorer Henry Morton Stanley. Stanley was instrumental in helping Leopold gain a foothold in the Congo. He was the king's eyes and ears on the ground, navigating the vast, uncharted terrain and negotiating treaties with local chiefs. These treaties, often misunderstood by the chiefs who signed them, ceded control of their lands to Leopold, setting the stage for the king's reign. These strategic alliances were not without a master plan. Leopold was a master of public relations, launching a widespread publicity campaign to legitimize his claim over the Congo. He portrayed himself as a humanitarian, committed to bringing civilization and economic development to the region. This veneer of altruism was enough to convince many, and soon, countries like France and the United States were backing his cause. France in particular recognized the International Association's claim on the southern Congo Basin, a significant endorsement that further solidified Leopold's control. The United States too supported Leopold's cause, providing him with the international legitimacy he craved. But beneath the veneer of benevolence, Leopold's ambitions were far from humanitarian. His vision for the Congo was not one of progress and development, but of exploitation and control. His rule, while recognized by international powers, was marked by a disregard for the welfare of the Congolese people. With international recognition secured, King Leopold II was free to implement his vision for the Congo, a vision that was to prove disastrous for its people. His reign, marked by exploitation and atrocities, would leave a lasting, devastating impact on the Congo and its people. But that's a story for another scene. Under the rule of King Leopold II, the Congo Free State descended into a nightmare of exploitation and violence. The Congo Free State, under the guise of civilization and economic development, was used as a means to exploit the Congolese people and their abundant resources. Ivory, rubber, and minerals, treasures of the Congo, were extracted relentlessly. However, the cost of these riches was not borne by Leopold or his administration, but by the Congolese people themselves. The system implemented by Leopold was nothing short of a brutal machine, stripping the land and its people of their wealth and dignity. The extraction of these resources was not a peaceful process. The Congolese people were forced into labor, coerced by the cruel administration that showed no mercy. The workers were subjected to harsh conditions, with little regard for their well-being. The administration's insatiable greed for resources led to the implementation of horrific practices. The workers were brutalized, and their lives were often the price paid for failing to meet the unreasonable quotas set by Leopold's administration. The atrocities committed were not limited to the workers alone. Entire communities suffered under the reign of Leopold. Many lives were lost, families were torn apart, and societies were destroyed. The Congolese people lived in an atmosphere of terror, their lives dictated by the whims of a far-off king who saw them as nothing more than a means to satisfy his greed. However, the horrors that unfolded in the Congo Free State did not remain hidden for long. The relentless exploitation and the unspeakable atrocities committed sparked an international outcry. Reformers from Europe and the United States took up the cause of the Congolese people. They exposed the horrific reality of Leopold's rule, revealing the stark contrast between the king's claims of humanitarian work and the nightmare that was the Congo Free State. The world was shocked by the revelations. The image of the Congo Free State as a beacon of civilization and development was shattered. The reality was a state marred by exploitation, violence, and a complete disregard for human life. The outcry grew louder and louder, echoing across continents. The cry for justice grew louder, as the true nature of Leopold's rule was revealed to the world. The Congo Free State was not a symbol of progress, as Leopold would have the world believe. It was a testament to the destructive power of unchecked greed and the devastating consequences it can have on a people and their land. The world watched, and it began to respond. The reign of King Leopold II was not to last forever. The seeds of his downfall were sown by his own cruel actions. King Leopold II's reign was marked by his brutal exploitation of the Congo and its people, but this was not to go unnoticed or unchallenged. The atrocities committed under his administration began to draw the attention of reformers both in Europe and the United States. These reformers were not content to sit idly by while Leopold's regime wreaked havoc on the Congolese people. They took it upon themselves to expose the human rights abuses and economic exploitation taking place under the guise of civilization and economic development. They put pressure on their governments, demanding action against the rogue ruler. The international outcry against Leopold grew louder and louder, and the king found himself increasingly isolated. The end of King Leopold II's rule came when the atrocities he had perpetrated could no longer be ignored. The international community was forced to act. The Congo Free State was annexed by Belgium, marking the end of Leopold's private ownership and the beginning of a new chapter in the history of the Congo, which would henceforth be known as the Belgian Congo. However, the transition from the Congo Free State to the Belgian Congo was far from smooth. The legacy of Leopold's brutal regime was deeply ingrained in the fabric of the Congolese society. The exploitation of the Congolese people and their resources had left deep scars that would take generations to heal. The Congo Free State was no more, but its legacy of exploitation and violence would cast a long shadow over the future of the Congo. The reign of King Leopold II may have ended, but the impact of his rule would continue to be felt for many years to come. The Congo was forever marked by the brutalities of the past, a stark reminder of the destructive power of unchecked ambition and greed. The story of King Leopold II and the Congo Free State is a stark reminder of the dark side of colonial rule. It highlights the extreme lengths a ruler can go to exploit a region and its people under the guise of civilization and economic development. Leopold's audacious seizure of the Congo, his brutal rule, and his unrelenting exploitation of the Congolese people for resources like ivory, rubber, and minerals is a chilling chapter in human history. The atrocities committed under his administration led to an international outcry and enormous loss of life. Yet, it was the relentless efforts of European and U.S. reformers that finally exposed these atrocities, leading to the end of Leopold's rule. The Congo Free State then became the Belgian Congo, marking a new era in the region's history. The tale of King Leopold II serves as a grim reminder of the devastating impact of unchecked power and greed. It underscores the importance of vigilance and the role of international intervention in curbing such abuses. Remember, knowledge is power, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and share it with your friends for more informative videos about the histories of countries worldwide.